What'd you see? Oh, I hear a train. I know. Oh my gosh, so beautiful. I wish I could wear this. It's a little too small. I have got a really fun pack or junk journal kit that I'm starting on today. There are a few more of these in the shop, but we are going to just start working with some of these pieces. I always like to keep one of the junk journal kits or fun packs for myself. I have an idea for this, and right now I'm kind of just sorting through the papers to figure out how I want this to be. There are so many fun book and calendar pages in here. Right now I'm trying to sort things by size to some degree. There are some beautiful pages in these kits. I do want this to be kind of a small journal, and I'm trying to figure out what I want to use for the cover. That's really pretty. I like that a lot. I wonder if I can just tear carefully right along that fold. But what would I actually want? That's really pretty. I could make this the cover and put a pocket along the inside. I just don't know if that's going to be sturdy enough. Corrugated cardboard is always nice. Let's just tear away part of the solid part and leave that rippled layer underneath. If you wet these things and let them sit a little bit, they will come apart really easily because that's just glue. I don't want to go that far though. I want to make this project kind of quickly, and I am really happy with that because it's flexible and it's going to give us a lot of strength to this thing we're doing. Now I'm going to cut this end off a little bit. I don't want the pink part hanging over. I'm okay if it's not perfectly even, and I'm okay with a little bit of tearing on the edge. I'm not worried about that. Okay, so let's get these situated the way we want them for the cover. I think that's good. And put 4 paper clips in place. And I'm going to take it to the sewing machine and sew around the edge of the pink piece of paper so that we get that to stay in place. I had white thread in the sewing machine already, and I decided just to go with that, not change it. Now, we are not looking for perfection. We're going to make something really pretty and really fun and kind of quick. So I love how flexible this is. We might put some sort of protective coating over the outside when we're done. But for now, what I want to do is take some of the larger sheets in here and make pages. So let's fold this in half. I'm going to actually put a clip on here to hold that into place. May have to go sideways. I don't always like to do that. Let's don't do that. So I'm going to show you what my trick is. Let's start moving some things to the side so I can work. We've got these 2 pages. Let's cut across here and about here. I'm going to have to open this up again and find out what sort of, okay. Let's cut the ends like that, And we want that taped about right there. Look at this cute little rabbit I found. That was at the dollar sale that I went to. I couldn't resist that rabbit. I think that rabbit is going to inspire some artwork. Now we have this beautiful new masking tape that Jennifer sent me. I love this so much. So we are gonna, let me just even this up. Whoa. The best that I can. And we're gonna use this on this side. Oh, I love that. And a piece on this side. So that makes a really neat little page, and it keeps everything upright. So there's our first page. There were some really cool calendar pages included in this fun pack. If we fold one of these, what does that end up looking like? Not too bad. It's kind of interesting. I don't know if we will use these for book pages, but we might. Oh, there's a fun paper bag. And I do like that. But that could almost go this way and be a really cool pocket. But it's kind of flimsy for that. For right now, we're going to fold it this way. Oh, I love these. These old calendars. 1976. Actually, this might honestly be a good one to fold sideways because one side of this is upside down, and I think having this page going sideways will allow us to flip the book and be able to read everything. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pages. Here's another fun calendar. Oh, even though it's glossy, I love these images. Could we make that into a pocket? I don't know. I really don't want to lose pictures. It's going to be kind of junky. I do want to cut off this little strip. Ooh, and now for these beautiful, beautiful book pages. Lots of information in these. Oh my goodness, look. There's Alphonse Mucha, Sarah Bernhardt. Some of these I'm going to save for pictures for my book. Some of these might make actual book pages. Like this would be a good one. It's got the information underneath. So let's use that. So this is pretty neat. This was a Stampin' Up! Calendar, and I tore pages out of that. So it's not dated or anything. I love the blocks in it. You could use those, you know, for writing on. This would be a really nice page just for journaling. So why don't we do that? Because we do want some space where we can write. So there's a fun book page. And looks like that is perforated. I just love these old illustrations. The Age of Enlightenment and the Industrial Revolution, scientific. Sometimes it's a bit macabre. I just love that stuff. It creeps me out and I love it all at the same time. You don't have to use all of your pages to make book pages. You know, you could use just a certain amount and then save your other things from here. Like, look at all of this. I might cut some of these out. Although that would be such a great book page. Oh my goodness. So there are some beautiful calendar pages in here with just amazing paper. Really nice paper to write on. And I want to keep the bird, obviously. What else do we have? Oh my gosh, and this is a gorgeous one. Each kit has got a big page from this calendar. And the images are so pretty. I'm going to close this up for just a minute to straighten the desk up. Book pages. There is a piece of fabric. This is fun. We do want some blank space. This is a fun pocket. We will definitely use this. That came from the bottom of a calendar. This really good paper, I'm going to save the little pieces. And a lot of little bits and pieces of ephemera, photographs, things that we can use and cut from. My intention with these was to fold them and make pages because it gives us lined paper to write on. Each one had one of these cards. I think I'm going to fold it this way. I am going to cut here, and this flap at the top, I'm actually going to cut out a little strip so that it will open and close easily. Even after the binding is put in. And this kind of gives us two little matchbook type folding pockets. I didn't want to bore you while I was sorting and folding papers. I had 4 stacks of things. I took the big pages out that I knew I was going to make journal pages with. I've got a stack of ephemera, embellishments, things that I can use to decorate the pages. There are some pens and pencils in each kit, and we're going to use those. Then I have some of the book pages that I put to the side because I want to cut images out to decorate this book. And I did save the offcuts of the really good paper because it is going to be so beautiful to write on and maybe glue little tags and things into the journal. I'm very impatient, so I'm going to try to put these signatures in really quickly. I'm not going to make a template or anything like that. I just need to decide which one I want to come into the book first. I think I want this one in the front. And then in the center, I think I want this one and maybe this one in the back. It doesn't really matter, I guess, but I do want a pretty image right when you open it. So what I'm going to do is start with my center signature. I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to sew these signatures in with hemp cord or if I'm going to take this over to the sewing machine, which is really easy and one of my favorite things to do. I might want to do a really simple 2-hole stitch with hemp cord so that I can hang charms on the outside. And we do have charms, so I think that's what I'm going to do. Again, I'm not going to use a template. I'm going to start with the center signature. Where did I put my all? I'm only going to do 2 holes. Make sure I have that upright. Yep. So let's poke one through here. And I will get my large needle and let's cut off a little bit longer than double. And let's pull this through if we can. That's a really large needle. So sometimes I have to use pliers. And then I'm going to make another hole. Some of these pages are shorter and I definitely want to catch them. So I'm going to come down far enough that we definitely get those pages. That's pretty close to being in the center. And make sure that's lined up. Got kind of a big hole there. I'm going to try to hold everything into place. In place. I always say into place. I don't know why I say that. I actually just changed to a larger needle, which is almost ridiculous, but I got a large size hemp cord this time. I didn't realize it was quite so fat, and I just was having a hard time working with that smaller needle. And something else, I just re-threaded the needle to go in from here. I don't know what I was thinking. I started in the opposite direction and should have made it from the very start so that these would tie on the outside, because I want charms on the outside. Make sure that's tight enough, and I'm going to tie it near the top. And I always put a little drop of glue just to make sure it holds. So there's the first signature. Now, why don't we put in this one in the back? You know, I think since this is perforated, not perforated, corrugated, with the scoring in it, or the ripples in it, it's going to make it easier for us to see, to keep this in a straight line. I've already checked all these pages. They're right side up. I've counted and distributed them evenly through the 3 signatures. And you know what I better do is try to, can I get that to reach? I don't want that flapping up in the way. And, you know, once again, I'm not gonna measure or do any kind of template. One thing I will do is put a paper clip on this signature so that the papers don't go everywhere. But let's see, we want this one to be over just a little bit. So maybe in that next little ridge, and I'm just gonna go for it. And it's a little bit lower than the first one, but that is quite all right. And do I want to use all blue thread, or do I want to put some different colors? It's really eclectic, so I think I might do some different colors. And then that went right through easy enough. And let's get it back down here where it's supposed to be. If you take these 2 cords, top and bottom, and pull them kind of, not too tight, but you just want to pull it enough to make sure you've got this back where the holes are all lined up. And that looks pretty straight. And I'm just gonna, again, I'm just gonna go for it. Yep, that looks like it's in a good spot. Not going up too high with these holes, again, because I want to catch these smaller pages and make sure that the cord goes through all of them. But you know, there's always masking tape for such times as these, if we need masking tape to repair some pages, we can totally do that. And I know it's tearing the paper a little bit on the outside. This is a fun junk journal project. We're not worried about perfection. We want it to be pretty, and we want it to be creative. We want to have fun with it and use up some things. Maybe have a place to put ideas, or, you know, whatever the theme ends up being for this. So there's the first, or the second and the third. Now let's put the first one in. And again, I think I'm going to, first let's pull all these strings down. Let's pull these signatures out of the way and try to clip those so they're not, you know, flapping over in the way of what we're trying to do. I've already got these in the order that I want them, and make sure that they're all down at the bottom because that's the way I'm doing this one. Put a couple of paper clips on there and figure out where we want this one to go. And now we have our 3 signature junk journal all ready to work in. Okay, let's do something real quick. Actually, let me open the book up. One of the things that I've started doing, if I'm making a junky book like this, and we've got just, you know, this paper, not fabric. I'm used to working with fabric, and I love how forgiving fabric is. You poke the needle through, and then you can't even tell where it went through once the threads, you know, kind of close up around the hole. But with paper, sometimes it can be a bit ragged. I will sometimes take alcohol ink and put a little drop, and it's going to run, and that's really part of the fun. So it just darkens those holes up on the paper. You know, you can do the thread. I love the way this color is starting to run into the cardboard. And that color is really pretty with, I don't want to overdo it. We may come back and add some more, but, and like this, where the paper's torn, let's go across there. I think you get the point. I took the strings hanging on the outside. Now, you can tie yours however you want to. Since I did just a couple of holes and started down kind of low, my charms are hanging down further on the journal than they might normally be. That said, I do like to bring them down far enough to where they're not in the way of journaling, and that's not totally the case with this. I'm not going to worry about it too much. There's one huge bead that's kind of getting in the way, but it's not a big deal. It really isn't. It's just something to think about if you're going to put charms on the outside of your journal. Each one of the kits has got, you know, a key and different beads that you can use. It also has a piece of fabric. It's got a nice square or rectangle of this sort of cream colored. It's like a muslin or a cotton. I tore 3 strips and then sewed them together to make what is going to be a tie. Each kit also has about 1 yard of this seam binding. So I cut a piece of that to sew, you know, down the length of this. And what I'm going to do is just run it up under my cords, if I can do that gently without, you know, hurting the binding. I don't like to pull on these too much. I don't want to stress the pages. Now that this is under the cords, I'm going to take it to the sewing machine and just stitch it to the front and the back of the journal. The other thing I have is my birdsong stamp on a piece of the fabric, and you can make your own little tags. You know, you can cut a piece of fabric out, you can stamp it with something, you can write on it. You could write on a piece of paper and then sew that to the fabric and glue it to the journal, but you can put your little sort of trademark on it or your brand. Oh, I love that. So it's attached with stitches here and here. Not here, it's kind of loose, but it's not going to slide up and down too much because it's under those strings, or the cords rather. And there is my birdsong stamp. So we're getting closer and closer to the point where we can just have fun and decorate. And of course that's the fun part. I'm going to pull these up as much as I can. There, that's good. I may put some pockets on the inside. These fun packs have all sorts of things. We've got, this is a sticker from a radio station, but I love the numbers. I think they have a grungy Tim Holtz look, so I'm probably only going to use the numbers. There's a little piece of white paper, some very fun photographs. So look at this lady playing an organ. Probably, well, it is in a church. I can see the stained glass back there. And this is pretty. So I felt like the embossing on this card would be a cool way to make a tracing. Like we used to do the crayon tracings or whatever. I mean, I probably should try it on a test piece of paper first. And each one of the kits has just some fun, like highlighters or markers or whatever. I wonder if that paper's too thick. Oh, it's not too thick. Okay, so let's tie this while we look through some of the things that we have. I thought this would be a really fun stencil. Scrapbook paper and really nice heavy paper that I've used recently. Each pack has got that. I'm tearing mine down because this is a small journal and I know that I don't need them to be that big. This is fun. So that is a library, one of the little checkout pages where you check a book out and it's got the due date and everything. I printed a butterfly on it, which I think is really pretty. There's just a little image from an old calendar. And these were fun. I found these in some ephemera. It's part of a church world service. I guess if you donate, it says a gift of aid in the form of mosquito nets has been given in your name to the church world service. But it talks about the usefulness of what you gave, the mosquito net and then a water buffalo. It says they're invaluable beasts of burden in small-scale rice production in Southeast Asia. And some really fun, so look at this. There are some heavy tags. They're all different sizes. Yours might be a little smaller than this. I just grabbed a pack at random. There's also a heavy tag in here, I think. I kind of just dumped my bag upside down, so there's no telling where it is. At any rate, you could use it as a tag on the front. I know what I wanted to call my book. Take some of this paper. Get around the corners on this. I was gonna call this the Accidental Encyclopedia. I wonder, what do I want to use to write this? I like that blue. Making kind of big block letters. The Accidental Encyclopedia. And what I will do to make that stand out a bit more is come back with this R2. I'm going to go around the edges of the block letters with the black ink, and then I will write over the top of this blue so that you kind of see both colors. The Accidental Encyclopedia. Ooh, I like that. And let's just glue that onto, there went the lid to my glue. Oh my gosh, I'll probably never see it again. It went across the room. I'm bad enough without having it go across the room. I can't even keep up with it when it's on the desk. Good grief. So let's glue this right here. And to attach this, I don't know if I want to cover up the bottles. I think I might put it down here. I'm going to sew on either side of these loops with a zigzag stitch again. Oh, so that's cute. I accidentally knocked this out of place a little bit. So let's straighten that up. Oh, I love this. I'm to a point in my life where I do not do a lot of documentation type journaling where you document your life and kind of scrapbook. I'm just at a point where it's fun projects, it's junk journals, it's themes that I like, whether it's Alphonse Mucha or a Victorian cemetery. I just have fun with it, and there is total, complete merit to that. You don't have to have a purpose for this. I feel like I keep learning by doing this kind of thing. I learn about different artists. I learn about different time periods. And the reason I called this the Accidental Encyclopedia is because it has so many book pages in it. It's going to have so many images. And I read little snippets or little bits and pieces as I'm going through these pages, and it's always a learning process. I'm going to stop for now. I have several more of these kits. I think I have 8 more of these that I'm going to list in the Etsy shop. And there will be a list of everything that's in here should you order. These are not super heavy, but they're a lot of fun. The cardboard doesn't come in the kit. You may decide you want to do a different type of cover with yours. And I'm going to keep coming back with this over the next few days until we're done with it, to finish up the edges and to make this look like we want it to look. It's got a long ways to go, and it's going to be amazing when it's done. Thank you so much for watching. I will be back really soon. Bye for now.